were hyped. They wanted to see what the new consoles had in store. Everyone knows about the rivalry between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and new games for both franchises were set to release around the same time, hoping to capitalize on the hype of the new consoles that November. Then, someone at EA had a bright idea to push the release of the new Battlefield game forward in order to avoid the competition that Call of Duty would provide. Okay, in theory, that's not a bad idea, as releasing a game around the same time as your competition doesn't always end well. Look at Battleborn and Overwatch, okay? But this decision came with a price, which is what ended up killing it. Battlefield 4 launched on October 29th, 2013, and it was completely broken. I don't even know how to describe how broken it was. It was broken. It was really broken. They even issued a public apology for how broken it was, stating that the launch was unacceptable and they were trying to push too much innovation in such a short amount of time. Thankfully, they are yet to pull the same stunt again, as the releases of Battlefield Hardline and Battlefield 1 were much more suitable. Speaking of Battleborn versus Overwatch at number 6, let's talk about Battleborn, one of the most dead-on-arrival video games of all time. In 2016, two new team-based shooters came out. They were ready. Battleborn for Gearbox Software, known for the Borderlands series. That's a good resume. And Overwatch from Blizzard, obviously a good resume. StarCraft, World of Warcraft. This is going to be an epic battle, right? The games were just as different as they were similar, and if we're being honest, Overwatch looked better. Sure, Battleborn had tons of different elements when compared to Overwatch, but the general concept and gameplay was the same. Battleborn launched on May 3rd of 2016 to mixed reviews and a relatively small player base with heavy criticisms. They were criticizing how difficult it was and the progression being far too much of a grind. Now, these are the criticisms that could have been fixed in order to bring more players in, but then Overwatch comes out. Overwatch launched on May 24th, and you guys already know. The rest is history. Cracking into the top 5 today, this is a rough one. The very first Titanfall. The game itself was a ton of fun, but lost much of its player base quickly after release due to 3 major things. Lack of content, technical issues, and the release of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, well, other ones too, Final Fantasy, just all kinds of stuff, okay? Within 7 days of Titanfall coming out. It had super addicting multiplayer gameplay, but that's really all it had going for it. It just wasn't enough content to keep people's interest. Now, they made the decision to release the game in March, as the later half of the year is pretty much dominated by Call of Duty and Battlefield, but Titanfall wasn't ready to come out when it did. They should have kept it in the oven for a few more months so they could add more content and iron out all the bugs that hindered it at launch. I have no doubt in my mind that Titanfall could have been a bigger success if it was launched later in the year with a little more meat on its bones, if you will. At number 4, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider. And the Tomb Raider reboot in 2013 is one of the best adventure games ever made, and it was a huge success. This obviously led to massive hype for the sequel, it always does, Rise of the Tomb Raider. But did you guys ever notice how this game flew under the radar despite all of the hype build-up for it? That is largely in part to Rise of the Tomb Raider launching on November 10th of 2015, the same day as Fallout 4. 4 days after the release of Black Ops 3 and just 7 days before the release of Star Wars Battlefront. Talk about just a line of juggernauts, if you will. It wasn't released for the PC until January. After a full year upon its initial release. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a fantastic game and a great follow-up to the reboot, okay? But the decision to sandwich an Xbox exclusive sequel between a bunch of insanely high multi-platform releases, not a good idea. This is a very, very recent one at number 3, Lawbreakers. If you've ever wondered what happened to the game, just think of what happened to Battleborn and then multiply it times 10. Lawbreakers is another team-based hero shooter that was developed by Boss Key Productions, and they were, well, you already know, Overwatch is having none of it with competition. I'm not even really going to go into that much detail. You don't see much about the game now. We saw it on YouTube for a little while, but it is another one that is dominated by Overwatch. People just weren't interested in another Overwatch-style game. They'll just go play Overwatch, regardless of how different the gameplay may or may have not been. Lawbreakers completely flopped and rarely gets more than 100 players a day on Steam right now. I'm sorry, I know, I gotta put a ball on here though. Number 2, Titanfall 2. You would think after the first Titanfall, EA Respawn would have figured out how to time their releases better. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This one really sucked because Titanfall 2 is yet another fantastic game. Now, you may have loved the first Titanfall game, but the general consensus was that it didn't exceed the hype or live up to the expectations. Titanfall 2 had a lot to prove, and it did prove a lot, but the problem here was, once again, its release date. Titanfall 2 launched on October 28th of 2016, 1 week after Battlefield 1, and 1 week before Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. If you're gonna launch a multiplayer FPS, you can't do it in October or November. Like I said before, these months are dominated by Call of Duty and Battlefield. If you're a fan of shooters and you have the choice between COD, Battlefield, or the sequel that's kind of an okay game, then you're probably going to go with one of the first two. I don't know. I don't get it. It sucks. And at number 1, it has to go to Halo the Master Chief Collection. Oh yes, one of the most famously broken games ever released. When you think of Xbox, you think of Halo. That's just the way it is. Halo made the Xbox, and the franchise will forever be associated with the console. At the time of Xbox One's launch, Microsoft wanted to capitalize with a new Halo game, but there was a dilemma. Halo 4 had launched less than a year ago, and Halo 5 was nowhere ready for release, so what do? You remaster Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, all those, right? Fantastic idea. But it didn't work out that way. It was a poor story. None of it played right. It was really disappointing. It was disappointing for the consumer, for the fans, everywhere. Master Chief, the collection, went down in gaming history as one of the most broken releases ever. There you have it, my friends. Those are 10 games that launched at the absolute worst time. Let me know which ones we forgot or should have put on here. And as always, guys, there's a playlist below if you want to check out all the other top 10s. And I'll see you tomorrow night for a new video. I think it's safe to say that graphics are a very big part of games right now, with pretty much every developer and console company trying to prove that they have the superior visuals. And I would also say it's safe to say that we judge a game on graphics along with other stuff, but if games look really bad, your first impression is probably that it's going to be a bad game. Well, what about those games that aren't? What about those games that are extremely fun, but they don't look the part? What's up, guys? Jimmy here. Welcome to Downside. We're going to be taking a look at and counting down 10 games that look terrible, but play pretty amazing. Now, for this list, we're going to be looking at games that were super fun and great games that had pretty out-of-date graphics. So we're going to do our best to consider what the standards and graphics were at the time the game was released. As it would be unfair to compare everything to games.
What do y'all want to do, play Rainbow?
You ready? We are running a $200 Amazon gift card giveaway. The entire
Are you playing Rainbow?
to do to enter is like this video. Be subscribed, turn on your